Hello everyone. So in today's lesson, we're going to take a look at arithmetic series. So this is a grade 12 problem. If you're in grade 11, you don't have to worry about this. If you're in grade 10, don't even think about it. If it's less than that, well, you know. So if we take a look at this series, we're given that 2 plus 9 plus 16 all the way to 251 terms. So this is our series. Now, we need to answer these questions. So at this point, they have taught you how to solve series questions and sequences. So now, the first question, which is worth 1 mark, says, write down the fourth term. So we have 2, we have 9, we have 16. What follows after? So what you have to do is you have to recognize the pattern that happens. So from 2 to 9, they added how many numbers? They added 7 digits. So it means the common difference for this series is 7. So from 16, you're going to add 7. So that means 16 plus 7 equals 23. So for 1 mark, we're going to write 23 as our first answer. Really, really easy. Collectible marks. Right. So for 3 marks, calculate the 251st term of the series. So in other words, they're asking you to determine the last term, the last number of this series. What is that value of the 251st term? So in order for you to calculate that, you need to determine the nth term first. So how do we find the nth term? We know that for an arithmetic sequence or series, we should have something like this. Tn equals a plus into n minus 1 multiplied by d. And then a is our first term, which in this case is 2. And plus n minus 1. And then our common difference is 7. Right. Now we simplify everything. 2 plus 7 by n, we have 7n, and then that we have minus 7. And then we simplify further. We have something like 7n minus 5. Now this is our nth term. This helps us deal with this series. So if you put 1 here, 7 by 1, that gives you 7. 7 minus 5, that gives you 2. If you put 2, 7 by 2 gives you 14. 14 minus 5 gives you 9. So it means our nth term is correct. Now, after determining this, we can answer the question. Calculate the 251st term of the series. So what you need to do is you substitute 251 where you see n. So therefore, for 251, you're going to have 7 into 251 minus 5. Don't have a calculator. That will give you 752. Let me get a calculator. Right. 7 into 251 minus 5. Yes, that's correct. Okay, cool. 1752. So now we have answered the question. The 251st term will be equal to 1752. Easy marks, right? 2 marks for determining the nth term, and then 1 mark for determining the 251st term. All right, cool. We move on. For 2 marks, they say express the series in sigma notation. Now, sigma notation is very, very, very easy. What you're gonna do, you're gonna do that symbol. Well, it looks like an E, but it's not an E. And then at the bottom, you write the number that you begin substituting by, which is 1. And then at the top, you write the number that you substitute with in order to determine the last term of the series. And then on the side, you write your nth term. So you get 2 marks for doing this. Really easy, right? Okay, cool. Now we move on. Calculate the sum of the series So we have two formulas to calculate the sum of the series for an arithmetic series. So in this case, we know our first term, we have 2. We know our last term is 1752. So we can use the short one. So we're going to say, okay, in order to determine our sum, we're going to use this. Sn equals n over 2 into a plus l. A for the first term, l for the last term. Now, you just substitute sum of 251 terms because we have 251 terms in our series. And then when you see n, you insert 251 all over 2. Our first term is 2 and our last term is 1752. Plug that into your calculator. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode, not radians, because if it's in radians, you're going to get incorrect answers. Okay, cool. Okay, 220,127. This means if we add all these numbers up to the 251st term, you're going to get 220,127 as your answer. Like if you say 2 plus 9 plus 16 plus 23 plus all the way to the last number, 1,752, the total is 220,127. Make sense? I hope so. Right. Now for the last question. This is worth 4 marks. It means you must work a little bit. Right. It says, how many terms in the series are divisible by 4? So what they're asking is, in this series, how many terms, how many numbers in this series that are divisible by 4? So what you're going to do is, you're going to make yourself a new series from that series. So the first number that is divisible by 4 here is 16 plus. So after 16, which number is divisible by 4? Then you're going to go to your calculator, rewrite this series, which is 2 plus 7 gives you 9, plus 7 gives you 16, plus 7, that gives you 23. It doesn't go to 23, plus 7 doesn't go to 30, plus 7 doesn't go to 37, plus 7, and it does go to 44. So our next number here will be 44 plus. You need at least 3 of them, and the next number it goes to after 44 is 72. Bear in mind, these numbers are in this series. So from 16, you have to skip all those numbers up until 44. Skip all those numbers up until 77. These numbers are divisible by 4. But we cannot do that up until we reach the 251st term. So we can check if our last term is divisible by 4 by simply dividing by 4. Yes, it is divisible by 4. So it means our last term will be 752. So now we want to know how many numbers are there from 16 to 1752. These are the numbers that are divisible by 4. So this is a new series. So you check your common difference. From 16 to 44, that is 28. And then from 44 to 72, that is also 28. So it means our common difference is 28. So we do the nth term plus, so first number is 16, and then common difference is 28, that is n minus 1, that is 16 plus 28, n minus 28, and then we have 28n minus 12. That is our nth term. Now, what we need to do is solve for n. So we're going to put this number, right? So we're going to say 1752 because that's our last term. And then we're going to say equals 28n minus 12. And then we're going to solve for n. Take n to the other side. 28n. You take that to the other side. It's you add 10 there. 1762, 1764. So you have 1764. You solve for n. You divide by 28 both sides. Divide by 28 both sides. Therefore, n will equal roughly 60. 28 goes into 1,700. Okay, 1764 divided by 28. It goes there 63 times. Right. because there's 63 times. Now, this is the answer. In this series that we're given, the numbers that are divisible by 4, the number of terms that are divisible by 4 are 63. It means in this series, 63 numbers in this series are divisible by 4. So that will be all for today, grade 12s. It was very simple math. If you feel like I was too fast for you, feel free to pause the video or rewind. Thank you.